Okay, let's talk about something serious. Your health. It's literally the only business where bankruptcy means, well, the end. Yet, be honest, how many of us plan our weekend brunch with more strategic thought than our actual wellness? Today, we're diving into a pretty bold idea, but it's backed by data. Treating your health like the strategic business asset it absolutely is. We're talking about optimizing your most valuable resource, your body, for, sustained high performance and, frankly, a longer, better life.
Yeah, and this isn't just some fluffy concept. It's really grounded in solid research. We're
Yeah.
talking Harvard Medical School studies showing people who adopt this kind of mindset, they don't just feel better. They live, on average, 12 years longer. And they report, get this, 67% higher life satisfaction. What's really compelling, I think, is that it's not about becoming some full-time health nut. Not at all. It's about getting the maximum health returns with a minimum effective time investment. That's pretty groundbreaking for busy people like you listening.
Right. So if we're framing health as a business, what's the actual plan? Like, what are the key parts people need to wrap their heads around?
Okay, so that's where this idea of the personal health business plan comes in. Think about how a tech startup launches a minimum viable product, right? The simplest version that still delivers core value. We're applying that same logic here. A minimum viable health system is designed specifically to create sustainable energy, longevity, without totally consuming your life. We'll walk you through the systematic thinking behind how to maintain high energy vitality. It's not luck. It's not just genetics. It's strategy.
That makes a lot of sense, like building a system, not just relying on willpower. And to guide everyone through this deep dive, we've structured it around four sort of key pillars of this plan. We've got energy accounting, risk management, performance metrics, and a long-term investment strategy. And we'll even show you a tangible ROI. I mean, how a modest annual investment in your health can potentially yield hundreds of thousands in increased earnings, plus a decade or more of healthy life. Get ready for some aha moments, I hope. Okay, let's make this real. Let's unpack it with a story. Picture Rachel. She's 35, a management consultant, outwardly, crushing it, successful, great income, traveling all the time for clients. But internally, she's just running on fumes, wakes up tired, needs coffee just to function, crashes hard every afternoon, spends her weekends just trying to recover. Does that sound familiar to anyone listening?
Oh, absolutely. And Rachel's biggest hurdle, like so many successful people, was this thing we call the perfection trap. She genuinely believed that good health demanded like perfect consistency, a massive time commitment. So she'd get into these cycles, ambitious starts, strict diets, intense workout routines, only to have them completely fall apart when her demanding work schedule inevitably took over. It's a really common dilemma, feeling like you have to choose between your career and your actual well-being.
Yeah, I can see that. So what clicked for her? What was Rachel's turning point? How did she break that cycle? Her big breakthrough came when she stumbled upon research, again from Harvard Medical School, on what they call high ROI health interventions. These aren't about extreme measures at all. They're about the minimum effective dose, the smallest health practices that yield the biggest returns. This totally shifted her perspective. She stopped seeing health as this moral obligation, something she should do, and started seeing it as a business optimization problem, like optimizing any other critical asset. And when she saw it through that lens, well, everything changed. And the research backing this up is pretty authoritative. Dr. Frank Hu's study, huge study, published in the New England Journal of Medicine. They followed 120,000 people for 30 years. 30 years. And they uncovered what he calls the compound health effect. Think of it like compound interest, but for your health. Your small choices today. They aren't just adding up. They're multiplying over time. That 20-minute walk isn't just burning a few calories now. It's potentially preventing years of medical bills down the road, boosting your productive capacity for decades. That's the compound effect.
Wow. And the stats from that study, they're really compelling, aren't they? People who consistently kept up just 5 basic health practices lived an average of 12 to 14 years longer than people who did none of them. And here's the kicker, the part that I think will really resonate with busy people. These practices took less than 30 minutes per day, total, combined. So this isn't about becoming a health guru spending hours in the gym. It's about strategic, minimal investment for maximum gain.
Which really brings up a key point. Why do so many people, especially in the U.S., struggle with health? The research suggests it's not usually a lack of knowledge. We generally know what's healthy. It's that we approach health like a short-term project, a 30-day diet, a fitness challenge. Instead of treating it like a long-term business asset that needs consistent, sustainable management, we focus on these dramatic, often unsustainable bursts rather than building systems that compound over time.
Okay, so let's get into those systems. If we're adopting this personal health business plan framework, treating our body like our most valuable asset, What are these 4 key metrics we should be tracking and optimizing?
Right. So the first metric is energy accounting. Think of it exactly like financial accounting for your business. You need to track your energy inputs, what gives you energy, versus your energy outputs
Yeah.
or the things that drain your energy. It's really about understanding your personal energy balance sheet day in, day out.
And for Rachel, that audit was eye-opening, wasn't it? She realized she was running a major energy deficit, her biggest drains, things like poor sleep, lots of processed foods, sitting all day long, chronic stress from work emails, maybe a bit too much alcohol sometimes. And on the flip side, her energy sources were things like movement breaks, quality protein, getting enough sleep, finding ways to manage stress, and interestingly, social connection. It's amazing how many of us focus only on adding more energy sources, like more coffee, while completely ignoring these huge leaks, the grains.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Plugging the drains is often more impactful than just trying to pour more in. Okay, metric number 2, risk management. In business, you proactively identify and mitigate major risks before they blow up into crises, right? Well, the same proactive approach is essential for your health.
Right. Makes sense. So for your health business, what are those high impact risks we need to manage? Things like cardiovascular disease, type 2 diabetes, mental health decline, cognitive decline later in life, even just injury from being weak or having poor balance. These aren't things you just hope for the best on. You manage them strategically.
Precisely. Number 3 is performance optimization. Look, your body is the platform for everything you do. Your career wins, your relationships, your hobbies, everything. So optimizing its performance creates these compound returns across every single aspect of your life.
Okay, and how do we break that down? You mentioned 4 performance pillars. First, cardiovascular efficiency. Simple test. Can you climb a few flights of stairs without feeling totally winded? Second, strength reserve. The basic ability to lift things, carry groceries, maintain good posture without pain. Third, cognitive performance, super important. Can you actually focus deeply, think clearly for sustained periods, or does brain fog set in quickly? And fourth, recovery capacity. How quickly do you bounce back from stress, from a tough workout, even from a cold? These are simple questions, but they give you powerful insights into your body's current operating system.
And the final metric, number 4, is the long-term investment strategy. This is about shifting your mindset. Every single health decision you make today is either building up your future capacity or depleting it. It's an investment or withdrawal.
Yeah.
So the strategic approach means optimizing for decades of vitality, not just how you feel this afternoon or how you look next month. This is where that really compelling ROI calculation we mentioned earlier comes into sharp focus.
Yeah, I love that framing. And this is where Rachel started asking herself that critical question, right? Will this decision I'm making right now contribute to the 70-year-old version of me being vital and independent? That kind of thinking really shifts you from short-term fixes to building a robust, long-lasting future.
Okay, so we have the framework. How did Rachel actually apply it? Walk us through her transformation. It's such a great example of putting this into practice.
Right, she didn't try to do everything at once. That was key. Instead of a massive overhaul, she started systematically. Month 1 was all about that energy audit. She literally tracked her energy levels, like hourly. And the patterns jumped out pretty quickly. Post-lunch crashes after processed carbs, feeling sluggish with less than 7 hours of sleep, but also boosts from taking calls while walking or eating a protein-rich breakfast. Even chronic email checking was a clear stress drain. She used that data to build her minimum viable health system. Minimum viable. I like that. So, small, sustainable changes, not a radical diet or crazy workout plan. What did that look like for her? A 20-minute walk in the morning, maybe during phone calls, switching to a protein and veggie breakfast, blocking out a non-negotiable 7 hours for sleep in her calendar like a critical meeting, and just 10 minutes of daily meditation. It wasn't about adding more to her already packed schedule, but integrating these high-impact things smartly.
Exactly. Integration over addition. Then, by months 2 and 3, she moved into performance optimization and started laying groundwork for risk management. She got a standing desk, added a balance board for a little movement boost, committed to just 2 gym sessions a week, but focused them on compound movements, squats, deadlifts, presses, exercises that give you the most bang for your buck, working multiple muscles efficiently. She also started meal prepping basics on Sundays, made walking meetings a default, and crucially, started addressing those long-term risks. Annual physicals, strength training to fight age-related muscle loss, using stress management techniques specifically for heart health.
Wow. Okay, so fast forward 6 months. What were the results for Rachel after this systematic approach?
Incredible, really. Sustained energy, basically from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., no more afternoon crashes. She lost 15 pounds, almost as a side effect, not by dieting, but just from having better systems. Her focus and productivity at work, through the roof. Better sleep quality, faster recovery from travel and stressful periods, less anxiety, noticeably better stress resilience. And the key insight, I think, is that Rachel didn't suddenly become a fitness fanatic or a health guru. She became a systematic optimizer of her most important business asset, her own body and energy.
That transformation really highlights this minimum effective dose principle we talked about, getting the biggest results from the smallest, most strategic inputs. For busy professionals listening, that feel like the absolute game changer, tackling that efficiency versus perfection battle.
It absolutely is. The traditional health approach often implies more is always better, right? More gym time, stricter diets, more supplements. But the strategic health approach, the one Rachel used, asks a fundamentally different question. What's the minimum effective dose? What's the smallest input that yields the biggest, most meaningful return on investment?
Okay, let's break down Rachel's highest ROI interventions. Why were these the ones that work so well? First, and you said this had the highest return, sleep optimization. Just consistently aiming for 7-8 hours a night gave her a reported 15% boost in cognitive performance. It's huge. Plus, the consistent schedule helped regulate hormones, and the basics dark, cool room, no screens an hour before bed made sleep deeper, more restorative.
Yep, sleep is foundational. Second highest ROI was movement integration, that simple 20-minute daily walk. Big impact on cardiovascular health and stress reduction. The 2 weekly strength sessions weren't just about muscle. They fought age-related muscle loss, built bone density, critical for long-term health. And the little things, like standing breaks, movement snacks every hour. They reduce metabolic dysfunction. Basically keeps your body's energy systems running smoothly, preventing issues like insulin resistance down the line. Even just taking the stairs became a mini cardio workout.
Right, weaving it into the day. Third was nutrition fundamentals. No crazy diet, just basics. Protein at every meal helped stabilize her blood sugar, kept her full, maintained muscle. Loading up on vegetables with most meals for micronutrients and fiber. Minimizing processed foods cut down inflammation, gave her more stable energy. And just drinking enough water, simple, but affect cognitive and physical function.
Absolutely. And the fourth pillar was stress management. Again, minimum effective dose. Just 10 minutes of daily meditation noticeably improved her stress resilience. It trained her nervous system, making time for regular social connection, real connection, buffered against mental health challenges. Setting clear boundaries around work, turning off notifications, prevented that chronic simmering stress. And even short bursts of time in nature proved really powerful for lowering cortisol.
It really shows that 80-20 rule in action for health, doesn't it? Like 20% of these foundational practices probably delivered 80% of her results. By focusing there, she saved a ton of time and energy while maximizing the positive impact. So she's doing all this great stuff. How does she actually track it? You can't manage what you don't measure, right? Especially in a business context. She treated her health like tracking business KPIs.
Exactly. She outlined specific metrics. For energy performance, it was simple. Daily energy on a 1-10 scale.
Yeah.
Did she have afternoon crashes? How was her subjective sleep quality? For physical performance, things like, can I climb 3 flights of stairs easily?
Yeah.
How long can I hold a plank? What's my resting heart rate doing over time? Cognitive performance, how many hours of deep focused work did I get today? When did decision fatigue kick in? And then resilience metrics, how quickly did I bounce back from that stressful presentation? How stable is my mood generally?
Okay, so she had the data. Then what? Did she just look at spreadsheets? You mentioned a monthly health review.
Yeah, and this was key for sustainability. Just 15 minutes, once a month, she'd review her metrics, look for patterns, what's working, what habits feel easy, sustainable, which ones need tweaking. Then she'd plan her priorities for the next month. Maybe focus a bit more on sleep or try a different stress technique. And really importantly, she'd consciously celebrate the progress she had made. That positive reinforcement is crucial. It gave her objective data for that systematic optimization, making adjustments based on results, not just feelings. And because her life was demanding, Rachel also developed these really practical strategies, kind of like contingency plans for staying on track. Her busy professionals health hacks, she called them.
Oh, I like that. Hacks are always good. What did those include? For travel health, for instance, that throws a lot of people off. She had a go-to body weight workout she could do in any hotel room. Packed portable protein powder and maybe some greens powder. Always had a sleep mask and earplugs. Tried to schedule walking meetings even when traveling.
Smart. And for those inevitable busy weeks at the office, her contingency plan relied on meal prep done over the weekend, a non-negotiable 10-minute morning routine, maybe just stretching and deep breathing, using her standing desk more, even quick breathing exercises she could do right at her desk between meetings. And social integration was big too. Instead of just default dinners or drinks, she started suggesting active social things like hikes or walks. Found healthier options when doing business entertaining. Even got an exercise accountability partner. Made family time more active.
That last point is key, isn't it? Building health into the life you already have. Rather than trying to create this separate health life that feels like another chore competing for your time and energy, it's about integration, not just adding more stuff.
Precisely. It shifts the whole perspective from health being just maintenance, something you have to do, to seeing it as a genuine long-term investment, understanding that health compound interest effect. Every healthy choice today isn't just for today. It's generating returns that multiply over decades. Think about it. Strength training now prevents debilitating falls when you're 70. Good cardio health maintains your independence longer. Managing stress well lowers your risk of chronic disease and cognitive decline as you age. It all compounds.
And Rachel really embraced that with her 30-year health investment strategy, right? Planning ahead. Ages 35-45. Focus on building that strength and cardio base, getting the systems dialed in. Ages 45-55. Shift to maintaining muscle mass, maybe optimizing hormones, actively preventing metabolic issues like prediabetes. Ages 55-65. Focus more on balance, flexibility, cognitive sharpness, keeping chronic diseases at bay. And 65 plus Avery cell. The goal becomes maintaining independence, vitality, just sheer quality of life for as long as possible.
Yeah, it's about playing the long game. And now, for that ROI calculation we teased earlier, this isn't just fuzzy feel-good stuff. There are real numbers here. Consider this. A yearly investment of, say, around $5,000. And that includes the value of your time, plus money for maybe a gym membership, quality food, supplements, preventive checkups. That relatively modest investment yields potential returns of over $100,000 in reduced healthcare costs over your lifetime, easily. Plus, potentially over $500,000 in increased earning capacity because you're simply performing better, more energetic, more focused for longer, and frankly, those extra healthy, vibrant years of life. Priceless. This is a profound return on investment.
Okay, that's incredibly motivating. So for everyone listening right now, what does this mean for you? Let's give them a clear, actionable plan. How can someone start their own personal health business plan, like this week?
All right, let's break it down. Week 1. Conduct your health audit. Just for 1 week, track your energy levels hourly. Notice the peaks and valleys. Identify your biggest personal energy drains and energy sources. Be honest. Assess your current patterns: sleep, movement, nutrition, stress. Get some baseline measurements if you can, resting heart rate, maybe how many stairs you can climb.
Okay, week 1 is the audit. Then week 2. Implement your minimum viable health system, MVP for health. Choose one simple, tiny change in each of those 4 categories: sleep, movement, nutrition, stress. Just one each. Focus relentlessly on consistency, not perfection. Getting it done, even imperfectly, is better than aiming too high and quitting. And integrate these into your existing routine. Don't try to carve out huge new blocks of time. Anchor them to things you already do.
Perfect. Then weeks 3 and 4. System optimization. Pay attention. Track which changes seem to give you the biggest energy boost or performance improvement. Don't be afraid to tweak things. If that morning walk isn't working, try an evening one. If one food makes you crash, swap it. And as habits start to feel easier, maybe gradually increase the difficulty, slightly walk a bit longer, add another vegetable.
Got it. Audit, MVP, optimize. And finally, establish that monthly health review process. Seriously, just 15 minutes once a month. Look at your metrics, even if they're simple subjective scores. Identify trends. Ask yourself, are these habits sustainable? What's my priority for the next month? And please celebrate your wins, acknowledge the progress you're making. It keeps the momentum going.
Exactly. And remember, the core message here, the big takeaway, this isn't about becoming a health fanatic who obsesses over every calorie or workout. It's about systematically, intelligently optimizing your most important business asset, your body, your energy, your health, with minimal high-impact time investment.
Rachel's story just shows so powerfully that systematically optimizing these foundational assets, like your health, really does create compound returns across all areas of your life. You're building this incredibly robust foundation, not just for feeling good today, but for thriving for decades to come.
The research couldn't be clearer on this. Systematic health optimization delivers compound returns, energy, performance, longevity. Your body is simply too important, too valuable an asset to manage randomly or reactively. So think about it. What really stood out to you from this deep dive today? What's maybe your single biggest energy drain you could address? Or what's the one health habit, that one minimum viable change you're going to commit to implementing consistently starting now?
That's your challenge for this week. Do that quick health audit. Identify your MVP, your minimum viable health system. Don't try to boil the ocean. Just focus on that one small intervention in each category: sleep, movement, nutrition, stress, that you think will give you the biggest energy return right now. Because that systematic approach, the one that truly works long term, it starts with those small, sustainable changes that compound powerfully over time. All right, great discussion. Next week, we're shifting gears a bit, but sticking with systematic thinking. We're diving into geography as a competitive advantage. We'll explore the research suggesting your zip code might be a bigger predictor of your future income than even your college degree, and how you can systematically approach choosing where to live based on your specific life goals and values. Should be fascinating. Join us then.